G'day everyone, welcome back to Speedcafe.com. It's the Crimsafe V8 Supercar Endurance Countdown. And September in Melbourne, it means footy finals and the traditional 500k Bathurst warm-up. This year, it's back at Sandown, and I reckon that's good news for John Bowe, who won the event a couple of times. JB, you must be thrilled to have the Sandown 500 back at its rightful home.
Absolutely. I love Sandown. I think Sandown is the Melbourne home of motorsport, and you know, it's got a rich history which I'm interested in, and you know, it's a good event. It is a good event. The track's difficult, it's bumpy, probably really needs resurfacing, Wade, if you're listening to this. Hard on the cars, more hard on the cars than Bathurst really, and it's just as hard to win, so it's important in its own right. And you know, it always throws up a wild card or two, so I like the event and I think it'll be awesome.
Jack, you've raced in the Phillip Island 500 the last couple of years. I mean, you love the sport. Do you love the fact that it's back at the Sandown for the 500k race?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big traditionalist, and for many, many years the traditional warm-up race for Bathurst was the Sandown 500. A couple of years it strayed up to Queensland, and a couple of years it snuck down to Phillip Island, but it's back at Sandown, and I'm thoroughly pleased to be part of the event. And like I said, big part of tradition. The 500k race on Sunday will throw up rain, hail, bit of sun, enormous amounts of wind. We'll hear about a footy score as well, and it's just a good race to be a part of.
JB, sit back. I don't want you to answer this. I want Jack to do it. Qualifying on Saturday for the Sandown 500. What the hell's happening there?
I don't know whatever happened to a normal 20-minute qualifying session, but what happens is there's going to be a qualifying session for either driver, which will be the main driver qualify the car. That's then followed up by 2 sprint races. The first race will be the co-driver, so guys like myself, Greg Ritter, Paul Dumbrell, Warren Luff will have their own sprint race based on the qualifying order. Where we then finish that race will be another sprint race where the results will determine the grid order for the main driver, and then the final results of all that will determine the grid for Sunday. So if you've worked out what all that means, is a reasonably complicated sort of setup to give you a grid for Sunday, but it should mean more on-track activity for the fans.
Before we talk about who you think...
Will they know what's going on though? That's the problem.
Before we talk about who you think will win, let's catch up with Jason Bright, a former Sandown 500 winner, about his thoughts on the big race.
Well, it's the second time it's come back to Sandown now after a couple of years of Queensland 500. I've always been a fan of the Sandown 500. I think there's a lot more history there than you know, we give it credit. So you know, I think it's good that it's back there. It makes a very good 500-kilometre race, I think. Well, I think, you know, there's not many races that history applies to. You know, Bathurst is certainly one of them, and you know, Sandown is the other race that was in the championship or actually a race for a lot of years. And you know, when we've sort of taken it to other tracks, it doesn't have quite the same appeal. And you know, I think the Sandown 500, you know, is and has been a big enough race that it, you know, does stand on its own 2 feet.
Jason Bright from Team BOC. I know he's a favourite of yours, JB, in the Brad Jones Racing team. How do you think they'll go at Sandown?
Well, I think they'll go well. They are a massively cohesive team, and that shows in the results. They're regularly in the top 10. Got very good drivers. You know, once again, they're a bit like Gary Rogers' team. They punch above their weight, and you know, they could win the Sandown 500, no question. They could win Bathurst. It
would be a great result. Picking a winner, Jack, it's hard to go past 888. They've won the last 8 V8 supercar races. Paul Dumbrell comes back into that #1 team. You think they are going to be very tough to beat, and if anyone's beating that #1 car, you'd think they're probably going to win the event.
Exactly right. Paul Dumbrell had tremendous success at Sandown in the Bottle car in recent times. He won his first V8 supercar race there, and Jamie Whincup's exceptionally fast around that place. So you're going to be pretty brave to put your money somewhere else other than the #1 Vodafone car. I must admit, there's a thing about Will Davison at Sandown. They've got a bit of family history with the circuit, and both the Davison boys normally fire up at Sandown. So I'd be watching Will Davison. He was quickest there at the test day at the start of the year, and those guys will definitely give the Vodafone car a run for the money.
JB, you said Bridie, perhaps out of loyalty more than anything. Who else do you like in the race?
Oh, well, you know, Jack stating the obvious, really. 888 FPR collectively are the best 4 cars in the race. So, you know, how are you going to go against those? But Sandown, more than anywhere, I think gives an opportunity for a wild card. So that's why my loyalty. I mean, the Jones boys are friends and have been friends since we were kids. So I guess, you know, there is a bit of favouritism there in my sense, but I genuinely believe it.
It's taken a week, but finally JB has the first sledge of the week. Jack Perkins states to the bleeding obvious. That's the Sandown 500. Stick with us tomorrow on speedcafe.com as the V8 Supercar Endurance Countdown continues, thanks to Crimsafe. Tomorrow we'll look at the big one of them all, the Bathurst 1000. You can win a very rare piece of V8 Supercar memorabilia. Collect Dick Johnson's Speedcafe Crimsafe ratings, and you can use those ratings to enter the draw to win a brand new 18-inch V8 Supercar control wheel signed by Craig Lowndes. Make sure you keep logging on to speedcafe.com for more details on how you can win.
Watch me race, Grandpa.
Protecting the things you love is really important. That's why when it comes to security screens, ask for the real Crimsafe. Look out for the rock. If it's not Crimsafe,
It's not Crimsafe.